Well, really proud of our guys and their response. Obviously, coming off of a disappointing loss that over the weekend on the road, it's nice to come home and play. Certainly in front of our fans. I got to give a shout out to our fans. I mean, an unbelievable crowd. Playing on a Tuesday night against a non-Division I team, and proud of our guys. I thought we played well and we played to our standard. And I say that a whole lot because sometimes these games and is no disrespect when you're playing a non-Division I team. Sometimes your guys don't take it as serious and they don't prepare like they would for a Division I opponent. And then when you get out there and you play, oftentimes it's very easy to break apart and try to do your own thing. So I thought we did a great job of showing the maturity that we should have with an older group, and I thought we prepared to our standard, and I thought we played together and made some improvements on some things that we need to do a better job coming off of both games last week. So pleased with the outcome, guys sharing the ball, making the easy play, thinking about their teammates, defending as a unit, and then certainly an opportunity for some of our guys that don't get to play to get in there and get some minutes.
Yeah, beyond even some of the guys who got minutes that haven't played yet this year and stuff, like how important is it to have one like this early on, like where, you're just getting different combinations of people out there, or, somebody like, EB's like getting different looks, you know, goes at the rim and stuff like that. Like, just how important is that to kind of still be sorting things out a little bit with this group?
It is. It's really important. You can't substitute game reps, right? You just can't do it. And so when you get an opportunity to have a game like this, it is extremely important. You mentioned EB. We're going to need him, right? He can be a premier big man in this league, and he and Elijah complement one another. But he needs to get out there and get the confidence and continue to grow and to learn and play the way that we need him to. A guy like Red Thompson, right? There's going to come a time this season where Red's going to need to really help us win some games. I fully believe that. And so the opportunity for him to get in there and play tonight and run our team was extremely important because it's hard to simulate that. And it's a difficult role for a young guy like him to say, I don't know when I'm going to get to play or how much, but I've got to continue to stay ready. And so games like this certainly allow him to grow and to get that experience to help him stay ready for when that moment occurs, because it certainly will.
What were the things coming into tonight that you really wanted to see from your group, and did you see those things?
Yeah, I thought the number one thing was just the togetherness and the energy. I thought that was severely lacking when we were at Norfolk and, playing on the road in a tough environment. That's when you need your teammates, and we certainly addressed that. We showed a lot of clips and called guys out and had some hard conversations about it. And we said, you just got to really be about your team. And I thought we did a great job with that. And the result of that, statistically, is you share the ball, you make the right play, you make the easy play, the extra pass, and then certainly coming out defensively and just taking some pride and sitting down and guarding the ball. And this was a great game for us to be able to do that because we did a good job taking away a lot of the things they were trying to run, a lot of the actions. So then it became, can you sit down and guard your man by committee and, find your shell defense? And I thought we were able to do that, and that's going to be really important for us moving forward.
Coach Mark Freeman missed all of last year, as we know, and kind of getting his feet back underneath him here. Can you tell us how he is assimilating into what you want to do? Because it looks like he's one of these guys that at any time could really provide you a lot of offense, but doesn't necessarily need to do that, at least in the early going.
Well, he's a dynamic player, and that's always our recipe is we want to put 2 point guards out there at a time. And it's really difficult to prepare for when you've got two guys that can play in ball screens, they can set the table and serve their teammates, and they can score. And there's going to be plenty of times this season that we need, Swag to go out there and take the game over, and he can do that with his scoring. But there's also times that, teams are going to really key in on that, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to make you have to someone else beat us. And he can really take over games with his passing, and I thought he just did a masterful job. 7 assists is really cutting him short because he had 3 or 4 of those that he threw to guys that got fouled. They go to the line that aren't on the stat sheet, and even a couple others that he threw to a guy and maybe they bounced it that aren't on there either. But he was making the right pass. He was really reading the defense. He was dictating where guys were going to be, and it's just fun to watch when he's out there doing that. And so it just proves what type of dynamic player he is, because he's not just a scorer, he's not just a passer, and he can certainly fill either of those roles when he needs to on any given night.
You talk about this game being one of responses too. How did the team respond coming back from Saturday night in preparation for this game? Particularly, I heard you in your post game very disappointed about the defensive effort.
Yeah, so we had a lengthy film session yesterday, and we addressed a lot of those things, and it was just a lack of urgency is really what we had, and the togetherness. We looked like a bunch of individuals out there playing on both ends of the court, and that's the lesson that we've got to learn. It goes back to when we got picked second in the league, right? I said, hey, that's great, that's nice. We got picked near the top because of the name on our front of our jersey and the brand and the accolades these guys have accumulated, but we also didn't get picked first because people are skeptical as to whether we can become a team. And we got exposed that we're just not quite there yet on the road. And so we made a lot of those same mistakes, Kurt, against Ohio that maybe other people don't see, but we weren't thrilled with our performance against Ohio, to be honest with you. I don't think those mistakes on that film session stung quite as bad as they did getting that loss. And so, we never want to lose, but it's a very much an important part of our process of becoming a great team to learn that the hard way sometimes, and we're going to become a great team because of that.
Coach, you talked a lot about how, especially last season at Moorhead, you were dealing with you described 6.5 guys in your rotation. This year you've been playing 8 or 9 guys who've gotten significant minutes every game. How critical has that been to your offense, specifically when it comes to keeping up the efficiency while maybe upping the pace a little bit?
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's hard. It's hard to figure out how you're going to play 10 guys. It's almost impossible to figure out how you're going to play 11. It just really, truly is. And so, games like this, Shane, like you said, they're important, right? Because guys get out there and they get reps and they get opportunities and that they may not get, Saturday against a really good Towson team. That rotation may look more like 8. It may look more like 9. But when you've got the ability to stretch that out, it can keep you a little bit fresher. You can play a little bit faster. You can put the ball in a couple different guys' hands, and you got a couple. Your big guys are a little bit different, so you can play a couple different styles depending where Elijah's on the court or EB's on the court. And so I think it's going to increase our tempo, and it should help our efficiency. But if it certainly hurts our efficiency, then I'll slow the tempo down to make sure we play the way we need to.
And then obviously very early in the week you've been focused on previous opponents, but what are you expecting from Towson this weekend? Yeah,
I don't know a lot about them, and my staff does a great job of not allowing me to work too far ahead. But Coach Dom Lombardi, he said they're tough. They are tough. They are physical. They're a really good defensive unit, and we're gonna have to come and really hooked up. And so the lessons we've learned over the last 3-4 days, coming off the Norfolk and this game here are certainly going to help us, and hopefully we take the good things we did here tonight and roll that into a tough environment on Saturday.
One more question. All right, Coach. So obviously last against Norfolk, Elijah Hutchins-Everett had some foul trouble. You lost him probably sooner than you had hoped. Tonight he came back, responded pretty well, had a great game, 21-point double-double. What does he mean to this team, and what does he mean in your guys' game plan, or how you wish to run your team?
Well, he's the focal point of what we want to do because there's just not too many guys, in the Sun Belt at the mid-major level or really anywhere in the country that have that combination of size, physicality, touch, and skill. He checks every one of those boxes. Normally every big guy's missing something. I don't know what Elijah's missing. He's got all those tools, tools, and what he's been able to show is some great maturity in the Ohio game and even tonight. Not as much of it in the Norfolk game, but those are growing opportunities for us. But he means a lot because he's certainly difficult to prepare for, and he's a guy that can help make everybody else better. Puts so much pressure on the other team's big man when he's involved in ball screens and he decides he wants to pop instead of rolling. All of a sudden, that lane opens up for guys like X and Swag to get downhill and get layups because they're so afraid of leaving a guy like Elijah because he's clearly shooting the ball extremely well. But he's also picking guys apart when he's getting double teams in the post. He can score it one-on-one. He's doing a lot of really good things, and so he's deserving of the usage rate that he has on our team.